So here we are again with a very interesting and exciting chat with Mr. Naveen Gupta from TREV, and we are going to be getting insights from him about the electrification of premium cabs and how people hire cars and how they move around. So welcome to the episode.
Thanks, Amber. Thanks for having us here.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's get right into the questions. And the first thing I would like to know about is what is the landscape like right now in terms of vehicle aggregation, cab aggregation, and how the industry is right now, and where do you see it going in the future?
Well, mobility has been there in India and it's been maturing for the last 20 years, but still, a lot of basics are still not served. With that, what I feel that the consumers today are shifting into two categories. One segment of the category is a consumer who is, wanting to have a very instant ride, and they are okay to, have some kind of inefficiency in the kind of vehicles, the kind of experience, predictability in terms of surges and all. And we are seeing that a lot of consumers are shifting to cohort number two, wherein people are okay to pre-plan and have a very predicted kind of a service, wherein the experience is great, the cars are clean, the cars are new, it's an electric vehicle and all. So today, in these days, I see that shift in consumer mindset is happening massively, especially in the metro cities.
Would the problems that you just mentioned, would it be right to assume that that was the genesis of TREV when you came up with the idea? What was that journey like?
Well, it's a very interesting genesis. I've spent 12 years in corporate before starting TREV Mobility. We started 2.5 years back. And, in my corporate journey, I have traveled a lot, like all across India. I have even had an opportunity to work outside. And I felt that mobility was very, very easy going, when I was outside of India. And I feel that, as a corporate setup employee, you have to spend approximately 2 hours, 2.5 hours every day on road, which becomes the most productive time which you are not utilizing at all, right? So why does that happen? Because the experiences are not great, the peacefulness, the reliability is not there. That was the genesis that I want to build a premium fleet, a premium experience for people who value their time, and actually it's not about going from point A to point B, but having that experience led thing wherein people are at peace and have a great experience while being on the road.
I'm sure and certain that the premiumness, of course, gives it a very different experience in terms of the customer. But you also spoke about predictability and how people are getting more used to, expecting that from a provider. So can you just shed some light on how you see the user behavior going?
So, 60% of our rides are pre-planned 4 hours before, and that's a massive shift in the consumer behavior while booking, right? Which clearly says that for the very frequent kind of routes like airports or rentals or everyday office commute, people can plan it well, and if they do it for EV players like us, it is easy to manage. So that predictability starts coming in. Secondly, obviously, you have to spend a lot of focus on drivers' recruitment and training, because at the moment of truth, whatever you do, it's the driver's behavior and how they are treating the consumer. So it becomes very important for companies like us to train the drivers and hire the drivers very well. Thirdly, it is all about the consistent experience, and the experience inside a car in TREV is that you can get water bottles, candies, tissue papers, sanitizers and all. And if you just feel like not opening your laptop, you can actually read a newspaper while going on the way. So this brings a lot of peace in the overall starting point of your day, so that people can spend the day very well at the end.
A lot of people are, a lot of users are showing that trend that, pre-planning their trips, which are for their daily work commutes and so on. But I'm sure that might be a bunch of people who are also, trying to discover if they can do a trip for long travels.
Yeah.
Is that something?
So as a matter of fact, the average time spent in a car for TREV consumers is 3.5 hours, and that is because a lot of our revenue is coming from rentals. So people are booking these premium vehicles for their rental leads because they have multiple meetings on the way, or they have multiple stops just completing daily chores of the work and all. And we as a brand also offer unlimited kilometers, because we just give you the car by the hour, so that again that predictability is built in into the pricing. There is a lot of transparency. So yes, they are doing. As a matter of fact, even I was surprised. People are actually willing to take EVs outstation as well. We have MGZS and BYDs. The cars have great range, and we have sent the cars as far as Udaipur, Pathankot, and Lucknow. And people are willing to experiment and just go outstation in EVs. Trust me, this is one of the best experiences. People after coming back from there tell us that it is very silent cabin. The vomiting sensation is not there, and the overall experience of traveling in an EV for outstation is really great. So yes, people are looking for longer kind of trips in EVs as well, and that shift in the mindset and everything is happening.
That's really great to hear. Because considering all of this, and you are talking about people being more open, more receptive towards the new age kind of services and everything. And where do you see this going? Right now, if people are now getting more open to, even renting, even going pre-planning their trips through the TREV app or any other smart app. So where do you see this moving towards? Are we seeing a shift from personal mobility to, completely aggregated apps in the future, or what is your take on that?
Shared and smart mobility will be at the core of how India moves in the next decade, and everybody has to play a part. And TREV is playing a part wherein we are trying to bring in smart mobility, that is like electrification of mobility in a segment which is predominantly not being targeted to be electrified, right? So we are targeting more long range kind of trips, outstation rentals, and obviously you get airport trips and all. What we believe is that people are like, in India, in metro cities, people love experimenting and trying out new brands. That brings a lot of confidence to new startups like us. And as I said in the initial part, the overall cohort of people, or the mindset of people is shifting towards experience-led mobility rather than just traveling from point A to point B. So we are seeing that increasing cohort of people is moving towards this direction.
Well, I hope that, apart from the first experiences, you guys are also, witnessing a lot of comeback customers as well.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, today approximately 55% of our revenue is from repeat users. So that's a testament that once you try it out, you really want to try it again.
That is great. So, how many cities is TREV currently functional in?
So right now, we are into Delhi NCR. We just want to focus on Delhi NCR, establish that it's a working, profitable model with the fleet of cars we have, and then expand to other cities.
Okay, so Naveen, before I let you go, please, I have to ask you, how has your experience been here at the TimesDrive Auto Summit and Awards 2026?
Well, it's a great event. It was great listening to Nitin Gadkariji's vision towards mobility. The panel discussions were really, really great, and it's a great networking event. I think you guys have done a really good job.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, my friend.
Thank you.